Welcome back to America Trends. I'm Deanna Lorraine, and I told you guys would want to stick around. You all know that I just released my book, Making Love Great Again. Woo! The new road to reviving romance and winning at relationships. Now, that's my goal, to make love great again. But there's actually a couple here tonight that are actually living and breathing and making love great again. So we warmly welcome Antia and Brody Boyd. Hi.
Hi. So glad to be here.
It's so great to have you guys here in studio. So you two are not only you're an actual couple, you're married.
Yes,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
Last time you checked. But you're a coaching couple too. You actually coach couples and you coach singles and everything. Similar to what I do, but you guys actually are a couple. So tell me about your company. What's the name of it? And tell us a little bit more about it before we dive in there.
Yeah, so our company is called Find the One Elite, and we work with women and men, single women and men, to help them magnetize that partner to share the rest of their life with and be happier without loneliness, frustration, or wasting any more time in the dating scene or attracting emotionally unavailable partners.
Wow, emotionally unavailable. That's a big word that I want to get into.
Yeah.
What is your age range that you typically work with?
Yeah, usually it's like 35 to 55 is really the majority of our, usually even like a little older, more like mid-40s is like the majority of the women that come our way feel drawn to us.
Yeah. So I bet you find a lot of women that are reaching that ticking talk where they feel like, okay, time is running out and I'm still single.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's women who've like really put more focus on their career, and then out of the sun they're like, oh, I forgot to get married.
I know, it's crazy how that happens. I've always been pretty conscious of it because I'm like, I don't want to be that woman, but it's amazing how so many women just are wrapped up in their busy lives and in their career. They don't realize it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we really see with women who are like beginning 30s, that their priority tends to be more on their business or building their career, and I think it goes so much to that they want to be independent, and I think that's such an educational piece that we are bringing in, that you don't have to have like be ready. I don't really believe in this whole readiness conversation, right? Because you create the interdependence together with your partner.
That's interesting. So, and I fell into this trap a little bit too when I was younger, but that people, and especially women, I feel like they're being kind of sold a lie that you have to either have one or the other. Like you have to conquer the career world first and then get in a relationship and you won't have time for both or something. How do you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the biggest challenge with that is by that point, they have become so quote unquote masculine and so structured that so many men that even come to us like say, you know, I don't have space in her life. Like I don't feel like needed. She's got it all covered, and she always makes sure that she lets me know that by paying for dinner and things like that, you know.
And how do you feel? I'm sure that you work with women too. A lot of the women that do that, is that a turnoff to most guys?
Yeah, so guys, what I find is guys really want to be able to feel like they can make the woman happy. And if a woman has everything covered and she's good and I got the career and I got my family life, my social life, but then the man feels like, well, what's the space for me? How can I come in and actually add something to your life and bring value and feel appreciated for that? And that's what a lot of the men that I work with too, as I've been doing for over 13 years and 20 years together, we've been doing this work, is really the men are coming to me saying like, I'm having a hard time connecting to women and having women really feel like they want to have a man in their life. They want to be like they're being available as well. And so, yeah, men are struggling and frustrated just as much as women are in the modern dating scene. It's pretty interesting.
It is, and I feel that a lot of women these days, they say, well, yeah, times have changed, men should just get over it and get that we're independent women now and that maybe we don't need them, but they should still want us. I mean, don't you think there's something to be said about just the way that we are, like human nature?
I have so much to say about you.
I love that you let each other speak. That's rare for a couple.
We've been practicing.
You can tell that you guys are coaches.
Exactly. We've had a lot of training and
give ourselves a lot of respect.
Done a lot of work to master our relationship dynamics.
Yeah, you know, oftentimes what I see, Deanna, is really the sphere of like vulnerability. So women kind of like use it as a wall, and to be like, well, I don't need to be vulnerable. Like, I don't need to feel that uncertainty or that sense of insecurity because, you know, I'm strong, and the man should just, he should just love me and see me and, you know, be attracted to me. Well,
Just
I
show
have
up
all
and
my
look-
walls up, right?
Yeah.
And be safe and secure. And the man is supposed to make himself completely vulnerable and insecure. And so there's this kind of like imbalance that I feel like women are asking of men. What do you think?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, women really need to have been struggling with opening up because of the fear of vulnerability, which men have as well. And yeah, it's tough because if you don't have the confidence to take that risk, to go for it and to allow love in, there's no chance of having any kind of experience. It's like, that's how I used to be when I started. When my first girlfriend dumped me, I had my heart closed off, and I had to slowly learn to open those doors to allow love into where we could even connect. And she had to do it as well. And that was our lifelong practice, was learning to open up and trust that love can be great.
Yeah.
Relationships can be great. Dating can be simple, fun, and easy. Relationships can be simple, fun, and easy. It doesn't have to be a struggle.
Wow, yeah, it definitely doesn't have to be a struggle. Do you feel like men are kind of resistant or getting kind of confused and angry towards women these days with all of this Me Too and sexual harassment and everything?
Well, I feel like the men that come to us, I think they're so afraid to even like go towards the boundary or whatever you want to call it, right? Because they're so afraid to step over it and to offend a woman. And I always say, look, you couldn't even offend a fly, you know, like, and I literally tell them, I want you to step into your wild man. I want you to be more raw and more real, and a little bit more forthcoming. So we see the opposite side. You know, what the damaging effect it really has on a man's true essence, right? Like, so the wild man, that's really like the oldest, most primitive and raw essence of a man. And when it's not there, that's this kind of like where women go to and love 50 Shades of Grey and all of that. Because those men, we feel that edge, and we're like, you know, we're like a little scared, but we're also excited, we're also attracted.
Yes. You said wild man, just to clarify, right? The wild man. I love that.
Yeah.
The boys in this room, they're wild men too, right, guys? You know, grunt. Every guy needs to learn how to unleash their inner wild man, because you're right. That's why 50 Shades of Grey was so popular. Because women actually are attracted to that at their core, right?
Yeah, and that's what I really help men with. It's really about the balance, because we all have different archetypes within ourselves. Women have them, men have them. We have different parts inside of us, like for men it would be the king, for women it would be the queen. We have the lover inside of us. We have the little boy or the little girl. We have the magician or the priestess. We have the warrior inside of us that gets stuff done. And it's about getting those parts into balance. And men, a lot of men are falling into, because of stuff that's happening in our culture, which I like to see it as a relationship between a man and a woman on a macro scale is what's happening in our culture right now. How do we bridge that gap? And it happens with us getting into harmony and be able to connect on all those levels with all those archetypes.
Wow, we just opened up a huge can of worms here. You're not going to want to miss this. We're going to be right back with Brody and Antia Boyd in just a minute on America Trends. Stick with us. Welcome back to America Trends. I'm Deanna Lorraine, and we are making love great again on today's show. We're here with Antia and Brody Boyd, and we are talking about love, and we're talking about relationships and putting people together, and of course, making love great again. So tell us, what do you think is then the biggest mistake or the biggest problem that you're seeing in today's modern dating and romance time that is hurting relationships between men and women?
Do you want to take it?
Oh, yeah, totally. I definitely think that women are still too masculine, and even like underneath, at the core, they're actually anxious, but they use the sort of independence to cope with it. And now in society, it's perpetuated, right? Like, you need to be the number one in your company and things like that. So they're like, oh, that's great. I can continue to run my walls, and I have it justified by my environment, right?
Right. The social conditioning in the media, everyone's telling them that this is good, this is okay, you should act like this independent woman.
Yeah.
And men should be kind of softened and kind of emasculated, right?
Yeah.
Well, what is interesting is like, oh, if you want to say something.
No, go ahead.
So much to say about that. What's so interesting is that actually they want a strong man. They always come to me and say, I want a man who cherishes me and who supports me and who's, who makes me feel hot and, desired. And I'm like, well, you kind of have to have polarity for that. You need to allow a man to step into his masculinity. That means you have to kind of relax. So I think a lot of times the understanding of the polarity is still not there, or if it's there, there's a lot of resistance to that.
Yes.
Yeah, really, because the only thing that causes that feeling of passion and a chemistry that we've discovered is that masculine, feminine polarity. And I think a lot of people listening to this will think, well, especially women, well, does that mean I can't have a career and I can't make a lot of money and I can't be successful? And we're not saying that. We're saying, by all means, pursue your career, become successful. Now, the opportunity and the challenge here is switching that from when you're in work mode to your romance and romantic relationship mode. That's the opportunity. Is can you switch from being more masculine, being a warrioress, getting stuff done, to now being more receptive, more open, more feminine, like following the lead, like in a dance. There's only one leader and one follow, and it's about letting the man be able to initiate more, letting him be able to take that direction, so you can enjoy that chemistry and that passion again and make your romantic relationship great again.
I like that. I always say, like, let him wear the pants and you can wear the skirt.
Exactly.
You don't really want him wearing the skirt anyways, but whatever.
Yeah. You can wear the pants at work, put the skirt on at home.
Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. Perfect combination. So it's about balance.
Yeah.
And you work with celebrity couples too, and high profile people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what?
They have problems too, right? Everyone thinks their lives are perfect and their relationships are perfect, but
you would be surprised how similar the challenges are, right? Like, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and it's really true. It's just at a different level, but it's the exact same fears of vulnerability, emasculation, boundaries is a huge one, right? Like setting boundaries and also respecting boundaries too. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So true.
Trust issues, fear of rejection, low confidence. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how the most beautiful, perfect-looking celebrity would still have confidence issues? Sometimes more than the average.
Sometimes the more beautiful they are, the more the insecurities come up, because their value throughout their whole life has been based on, I'm beautiful and that makes me valuable. Well, if that goes away, what does that mean about me?
Well, one thing we really studied at UC Berkeley, where I went to school for, was like external confidence versus internal confidence. And so with celebrities and like high profile individuals, what we see is like this external confidence is huge, right? They know how to present themselves on camera, look good, be presentable. But then when we look behind the facade and see, well, how does your internal confidence hold up? Like, if everything would fall apart, it's a mess, it's chaos,
like a
right?
house of cards.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of suppression because they need to look a certain way on the outside. And frankly, there is not this authenticity and this transparency is missing. And because of that, they don't have this deep sense of connection. They don't really get to feel that, not even with themselves, because they have to tell themselves, I'm a certain person, I'm going on camera, I'm going to this huge event or a speaking gig or whatever, right?
Absolutely. Authenticity is so missing in today's society. And you've been married for how many years?
Almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
You always want to ask the woman,
I know, right? Like, how many years? Okay, what is one, if you can tell us quickly, one success story that you guys have had?
Yeah,
anyone married recently or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had so many engagements just lately,
like 3
right?
in the last month.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Pop the champagne.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And this is actually such a good story because he worked with my husband and she worked with me. And she was like this typical sort of like, I have a lot of power and very, very successful and accomplished, right? Very well spoken, has taken all kinds of workshops and seminars, but her way of being was really driving the right man away. I mean, of course, you always attract some men, but the right man away. And it was really about her feeling into her vulnerability and feeling into her uncertainty and her power too, because I feel so many times women don't trust their power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they are actually getting married in Cabo soon. They asked us to officiate their wedding, which is a first for us, which is really cool.
What? what?
So
Wow,
now-
you're officiating it.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I was the maid of honor twice. This time I'm officiating. So
Wow. Okay, so that's proof right there that your coaching works.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't
It's
think that
needed.
you don't have a better testimonial than a wedding invitation and an invitation to officiate.
Well, one better was one of my clients early this year had a baby from my
That's our
coaching
first
help. And so that was the
baby,
first baby
First
that we
baby.
had. So it works. It works. It's just about getting that support, and he made it happen with that.
Yeah.
And our women make it happen too.
That's great. That's really cool. And then after that, I bet, do you also continue to sometimes coach the couple down the line? Because new issues always pop up, right? Different kinds of issues.
Absolutely, yeah.
Totally.
It's all about now what are the new boundaries? Now you live together. Maybe sometimes you work together, right?
yeah.
Brody and I, we do everything. We were asked at Harvard, how do you guys do that?
my gosh.
How have you not killed each
No
other?
separation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always growing.
Yes.
You know,
always get higher levels of mastery.
you always, yeah.
Right, because you have to keep evolving, or else you're gonna stagnate.
Yeah,
That's what I always say.
if it's not growing, it's dying, and it goes for you. If you're not growing, essentially you're dying. If your relationship's not growing, essentially it's dying. So you have to continually up your skills and insights that most people don't know is because we're not taught these skills in school. We're not taught in high school or even college.
Right.
Even though we both study this in college, they weren't even really teaching the good stuff. We had to learn that from our mentors.
Do.
Yeah.
This is how you win at relationships. This is how you
Exactly.
make love great.
You gotta work on yourself. You gotta grow yourself.
Absolutely. Okay, tell us where everyone can find you real quick.
All right. Well,
Well, go to Find the One Elite.
FindTheOneElite.com.
And for men,
And on
we also,
Facebook.
And on Facebook, yeah. Find us Antia Boyd, Broderick Boyd. If you go to winthewoman.com for men, that's where I have my free gift, a complimentary session I'm offering right now.
Perfect.
Antia has her gift that magnetizes the man.
We will be right back with America Trends. Thanks so much, guys.